intro thing's going? Oh, there we
go. It should be rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can still talk.
Look at us go. 10-second intro.
We jumped really quick.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. We're live. What's going on, everybody? It's the Upper Bay Podcast, back for another episode. Per usual, if you're new here, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate that. If you're not new here, thank you again. We love your support as always. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. We got Rich back today. He wasn't able to make it on the last one, little technical issues, but that's all right.
Yeah, well, dude, when you drive 3 hours away to go fishing, and when you get to the Airbnb, you can't get power to your boat. That's a high priority item that needs to be addressed right away.
Yeah,
so I'm glad you guys were able to get it rolling and do the show with the dog trackers. I listened to it; it was awesome. I could have been there for it, but like I said, we needed to have power to the boat. So my brain kind of went scattered, like right off the rip when we had to source that out. But yeah, man, it's good to be back. It's good to be back.
And then we got another man on the screen. We got one of the top elite fishermen out there. We got Mr. Lee Livesay, and he's fixing. We got bird nest. What, we fixing something?
We already got a celebrity guest appearance.
Wow, look at that.
Big Lane.
What
up?
Hey.
What are you
Hey.
She said she want to go fishing.
Yeah.
How are you?
Oh, Elaine.
That's
How old are you? How old are you? I have a son that's 5 years old.
No, he said, "How are you?" Not who are you. He said, "How are you? Are you doing good?"
Hi.
Crash the podcast. That's
I love it. I was worried about my little man crashing.
That's awesome. But Lee, thanks for jumping on tonight with us, man. We appreciate it. You're definitely the most impactful guest we've had on this show so far. So, guys, if you're not familiar with Lee Livesay, I'm going to give you a second here just to get to know who we got on the screen with us tonight. Lee is a 6-time classic qualifier. He's got 15 top 10s on the Bassmaster Elite series, 4 wins in Bassmasters, 3 on the Elites, 1 in the Opens. Over $1 million recently in earnings after the beginning of this year. And he's a 5th grade checkers champion. Welcome to Upper Bay Podcast, Livesay.
Yeah, beautiful intro, Lee. Beautiful.
Where are we? Where are you coming? Where are you coming into the show from right now, Lee?
Man, I'm sitting in the backyard. Been fishing today. Had just a trip out on Lone Star catching some big ones right here by the house, and came out here in my backyard to get away from the family so I could do this podcast. And they found me in about 27 seconds.
Dude, I know that all too well. Every time I try to escape, my little ones always find me. They're like little magnets, man.
Oh yeah.
So how you feeling, dude? How you feeling after the first two events of the year?
Hey.
That's all right. Bring the noise.
Man, I know. I'm waiting on somebody to come save me. That is our East Texas special, the bait caster with the spinning reel.
That's beautiful.
Nice. Nice. That's a good setup.
Let me show you what they've been using. Oh my gosh.
What is that?
That's actually a next level of a bird's nest. Right?
So actually a really cool story about why that's all bird nested. So I just got a pond right here by my house, and we'll throw a catfish pole out at night. The kids will throw a hot dog out there or whatever. Yeah. We had some goldfish the other night, and I was like, man, just go whiz a goldfish out there under that bobber for the night, see what we catch, because I got 10-pound bass in here too. And I went and checked it the next morning, and something was on it. I was like, oh, we got one, and I reeled it in. I have a picture and a video. A bass had ate the goldfish and somehow spit it out the side of his gills with the hook still in the goldfish. And then a catfish ate Then a catfish ate the goldfish. So the bass was on the line just through his gills, and the catfish was hooked.
Yeah.
And I caught both of them. It was pretty crazy. The bass was actually dead. It was a little one, but it was pretty cool. Caught two, but only hooked one.
Wow.
That is that's pretty incredible. It's
I'm gonna get up there.
how do you think the fish got the goldfish out of its gill? I can't even wrap my head. Like the goldfish must have swam out.
It's happened before in the elites and FLW. I remember David Dudley did it one time. He caught one on a wacky worm and it had done it. He might have been bed fishing, whatever. I just remember the fish spit his wacky worm through his gills, and then he hooked it outside the mouth, and he called the tournament director saying, "Hey, I snagged this fish, but it ate it." So, and I know it's happened multiple times on the elites too.
Kind of crazy.
That's incredible, man. But yeah, so dude, where's your head at? How you feeling after the first two elites going into getting ready to head to the classic?
Hey, go see Nani. I got my wife saving me. Get Nani. Man, it's actually, I had two bad. I mean, I made the cut at Gunnersville, did really good, and then just lost a lot of points that second day. And man, I started with Hartman every day, and he just outfished me and got on another school of fish, top 10'd it, made really good decisions there. Just, was, inches away from having a top 10 in my head there.
Right.
So good decisions there. And then the second one, man, Martin, I'd never been there, never seen it. Didn't get to pre-practice. But, man, I fished right outside of where Fisher won. I was fishing deeper. I missed the shallow deal.
Right.
But, I thought I was going to do really good on spots, and I'd catch like 9.5 pounds of spots by 9 o'clock every day, 9:30. And then I would be like, all right, I just need one largemouth bite the rest of the day. I got like 6-7 hours, 5-6 hours. I'm going to get one bite. And I had Jesse both days. He doesn't have a Marshall. So I told him, like, man, I'm just, I'm gambling my tournament. The same thing, reciprocal both days.
Right.
I'm getting one largemouth bite. Like that's what I do. And I'd run up where Brock was fishing pretty much, not all the same, but some of the exact same stretches Brock fished both days, like from 10:30 till 4:30 the first day until 3:30 the second day, and never caught a big largemouth. And that's the gamble I took, being comfortable with spots really early on. I just need one bite, and I just never had it. And like I said, I fished around Brock got second, so it was like I made some really good decisions there, and it just didn't happen again. And I had a really bad tournament. I finished like 83rd or something, like one of my worst finishes ever. But at the same time, like one bite, just like we saw Ike and Ellie catch a 5-pounder the second day. Multiple guys caught one big one. Their whole tournament was one bite. Spots too, not just largemouth, but I just never had that bite.
Right.
Literally, I fished one stretch 3 times, and I'm sitting there the final day, sitting there watching Bass Live, and Brock pulls up there and catches a big one. I'm like, what? Like I didn't know because I had no history there, but it was like perfect, dirty and shallow and wood. Like it just was one of those tournaments that it didn't go my way.
Right.
But I mean, I've been fishing really good in my head for the last 2.5, last 9 years, but really good the last year,
Right.
So all confident going to the classic, and the next 2 events are, river events right up my alley.
Yeah.
So just fishing. I've been smashing at the house all winter long. I fished more this winter than I have in 7-8 years.
Yeah.
So it's been good. Fishing's good right now.
Is there, so I've took note to that, Lee, actually, like, in the last couple of years, I know you haven't spent a ton of time, fishing when you're in the off season, but it seems like this year you are more. Is there a reason why, or is it just kind of like life setting up and allowing you to do so, or like why the change?
Yeah, just Lane's almost 4 years old now, and she can, I took a couple years off there just to hang out with Lane. I'm still hanging with her, but just, she's in school now, so I don't have to daddy daycare full time now.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, kind of what we wanted to talk about with you tonight is like the sacrifice and the dues that you have to pay in order to get to where you're at as an angler and where you're at in your career, and then and then how to maintain it, right? And you kind of already just hit on something with Lane. Obviously, early, in the beginning phase of your career on the elites, like you had a baby, that changes things for you, right off the rip. What were some of like the biggest sacrifices that you had to make, not only as an angler, but just as a person during that time?
I mean, the biggest sacrifice is what the family's letting me do, because I'm gone on holidays, I'm gone on Mother's Day, Father's Day, birthdays, graduations, games. That's what sucks about professional fishing, is being gone, especially when you have kids. Like when you don't have kids, you don't give a shit. You just roll. Right. But once you have kids and the older they get, the better it gets. So just being gone from them sucks. But just when I had Lane, like I said, I didn't get to spend as much time on the water. So everything, being on the road, I like being on the road, but it's rough at the same time. You know what I mean?
I get that, man. I don't do, I'm no professional bass fisherman, but we do a lot of hunting. We're mostly deer hunters, and one of the guys that we do this podcast with, he's still young, doesn't have a family or anything, and he's just hunting every single day, which I used to do until I had kids. And then I had kids, and it slows you down. And it's like, sometimes you feel like you're missing out, but on what's going on out there. But the other times it's nice to just kind of be home with the family and enjoying that time while you can too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And that's part of what I've cut out too. I used to hunt every day, duck season, deer season. I hunted less this year than I have in the last 25 years of my life, probably, for sure.
Was there ever like a time, and maybe this was like at the beginnings of it, like where you questioned, like, after you made the leap into professional fishing, did you ever question it and think like, what am I doing? Am I making the right choice in this dream that I'm chasing?
I got lucky. I had success right out the gate. My first year I finished in the top 15, and a couple top 10s my rookie year, and then my second year I won. A lot of these guys have been fishing 30, 40 years with great careers and have never won one. And then I won one the next year, and then I won two the next year. I came out the gate, and that let me settle down big time. And I was, in that same time frame, I won multiple big regional tournaments here in Texas too. So I had a weird little COVID 16-month deal where I won everything I fished. It felt like, I couldn't do wrong. And then, you start settling back down, because that doesn't last forever. Nobody's winning everything besides Jacob Wheeler and KVD. But I'm not that guy. Wheeler's been like that, and Kevin was like that since they were 21. You know what I mean? I had my ass handed to me all throughout the state of Texas for years before I started winning. There's different guys. There's guys that win everything like Wheeler and Kevin, and then there's guys like me that are gonna, go through little spurts like Randall Tharp and, Faircloth, guys like that. You can look at the biggest names in the sports and you're like, oh man, he's only got 8 wins.
Yeah.
Oh, man, he's only like the big names, besides Kevin, besides Wheeler, stuff like that. They don't come every year. They don't come every week. They don't come every month. So that helped me a lot, jumping out the gate those first 2 or 3 years with wins. That settled me down, not just mentally, but financially with sponsors. That's the biggest part of our game, is getting those sponsors, and they don't show up until you win.
Yeah,
it takes time before unless you win. So that helped a lot, settling me down for sure.
So you have, like, one thing that separates you, Lee, from a lot of guys is you have an amazing ability to stay consistent and stay competitive as far as staying above the cut line, getting checks, making classics, that like you can put it together and pull it out when all the shit's hitting the fan. And you've shown that on so many occasions. Most recently this last year at the Mississippi River, right? The day one, I think you would admit that was rough, right? You were lowest of low, and then to go from lowest of low to highest of high the next day to crawl and fight your way back in. Was there something, can you put your finger on something specific, like maybe not related to fishing, just kind of how you were raised and what your upbringing was that gives you that ability to like be back against the wall, fighter's mentality, and just figure it out on the fly?
I mean, that's just how I fish, you know. Like I say it all the time. Like it's never pretty. I'm never pretty. I'm never smooth. It just never comes easy. Like I'm not one of those guys. It's like always a fight. Like everything, you know. And you know, we film everything we do with Jesse, and he sees it all the time. You know, it's like I always catch one at the last second. There's something that I need, you know, like at Martin when I didn't last week or 2 weeks ago. Like
Yeah.
it was the last second. I was on the stretch that I told you that Brock catches a great big one the final day. And I'm like, this is right, Jesse. And he knew it. I already fished it twice in 3 days of practice and 2 days of tournament. I was like, it's right. It's going to happen. And I'm talking about I had 10 minutes left. I had 9.5 pounds. I was like, it's about to happen. I'm about to catch a 4-pounder. And just grinded to the last freaking second. And Jesse looked at me, goes, oh my God, like that was one of the times that never happened. And I was like, I know, it felt weird, didn't it? And he was like, yeah. But like that's just how I do it. You know, I grind until the very last second. You know, I'm a shallow power guy. I get out. I mean, I've won offshore, I've won with big baits, I've won all over the place. But you know, when I'm making my money, 90% of the time I'm in the dirt, you know, grinding just where it's not easy. They're not everywhere. They're not just giants jumping out of the water. And that's just kind of how I live my life too. You know, just like how I got on this podcast, just by hair.
Yeah. No, you got on this podcast because like we were talking about, you know, we've been doing the show and it's just a beer drinking, having a good time, talking fishing, talking hunting, everything show. And like I got to thinking, I'm like, holy shit, I've been working with Lee now for like 5 years. Like it's been a fucking minute, dude. Like we've gone from the horseshoe to stingrays and sharks and you know everything in between, upstate New York. Like it's been a damn minute, dude. Like
Atlantic City.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, you've now reached a point in your career where like you're a household, you are a household name on the Elite Series as far as a top performer. You make classics, you threaten to win. You're a guy that is now nobody's going to be surprised the next time Lee Livesay wins another tournament because it's going to happen. You paid your dues along the way to get there. What were some of the things, like what were some of the lumps that you had to take along the way as far as like the hard lessons learned and, you know, like glad you figured it out early on in the career? Like what were some of the things you had to kind of overcome and get through to get to where you're at now?
I mean, there's not just one thing, you know, it's just, you see all these young guys nowadays. It's crazy, how young they are and the success they have. But, you know, like I wasn't like that, you know, just fishing, man. I grinded, you know, I wasn't a big tournament guy growing up. I just fished.
Yeah.
Bass, catfish, crappie, bank, spillway, pond, didn't matter. Anything that bit. So I think that helped me out a lot, just learning how to, you know, catch anything and everything. And just loving to fish. I love to fish. You know what I mean? I love to brim fish, flathead, catfish, doesn't matter. But I spent my time on the water guiding at Fork. You know, I was doing 310, 315 days a year guiding and then fishing tournaments on the side of that, like literally talking about 350 days a year on the water for pretty much 10 years. And that's where I learned a lot, you know, just because when you guide that many days, guess what? About 60% of those days they don't bite and you got to pull a rabbit out of the hat. You know, you got to pull some shit out at the last hour of the day, just like I do in most of my tournaments. So, you know, I think a lot of those guide trips that weren't great, but I had to make them great somehow to make my money and get my clientele to return. I think that helped me out a lot in the long run for sure. And, you know, being around here where I live, man, it's versatile. We got it's the best bass fishing in the world where I live. There's no doubt about it. Per lakes, you know, we have literally lakes all over the place. I go to a different lake every day and catch 30 to 40 pounds, you know, around my house every single day.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and like I'm not going to fork or anything like that. Just little lakes. So just learning. We got grass lakes, rock lakes, timber lakes. Frog and flipping, bed fishing, giant. Like I go to a lot of places and I'm spoiled. Because here I don't fish for a lot of fish under 4 pounds when I'm actually out there hunting them. And then I go places like Martin, and you're like, whoa, like my hook's too big. I'm gonna kill this thing.
I got Rich. I got 2 questions to feed off of that. So you said you had mentioned that when you were growing up, you weren't a tournament fishing. So at what point did you make the executive decision? Okay, I'm going to try to go professional with this.
When I was guiding, I had some Matt McMillan, actually, a guy named Matt McMillan. He tournament partner fishes. He fishes with Trevor Romans. He used to be on the Elites, actually. Trevor did, and him and Matt are partners. But I just had Matt as a client. I didn't know Matt from anybody. And he came and fished with him multiple times, and he was like, "Damn, dude, you're pretty damn good." Like I fished with Trevor. My team partner fished the Elites for years, and like you're pretty good. Like you should go try to make it. And I was like, man, I ain't got no money. I was just a broke ass guide. Guide life. I don't wish that on anybody. Trust me.
Yours.
But and Matt was like, man, I'll pay your entry fees to the opens, and I'll travel with you, and I'll fish them too. And so I was like, heck yeah, dude. And that's who paid my first round of entries was Matt. And we traveled. I almost won the first one I fished. I think I got third in it. So that settled, first open ever fished, almost won. I was, 1 bite away from winning. And that settled me down a lot. Like, oh man, you can do this. And then the next 2 tournaments, I think I finished in the hundreds. So, but that's how it started, was with Matt, which I was fishing regionally. You know what I mean? I was fishing the biggest stuff in Texas and winning it already at this point in time. I'd started fishing Thursday nighters and Tuesday nighters, and then fishing the little $2,000 deals and the 5,000, and then was fishing for boats. And you can fish in Texas every weekend in the spring for 20 to 75 grand every weekend, somewhere. So it wasn't like I just jumped in the opens blind. I was already winning AOIs in regional Texas and trophies and boats and stuff in Texas. So,
right.
But that's how it started. It was all from guiding. I knew guiding was the only way to make money consistently enough to fish for a living.
Mm-hmm.
I knew, because I never had a dream of being an elite guy. That was just a dream. But the guiding was the only way I could make a living fishing and still fishing tournaments on the side.
Right.
So that's what I was doing, and then got lucky and had a guy, my buddy Matt jumped in and paid some entries, and I qualified a couple years later, and the rest is history.
Shit. Well, thanks a lot, Matt.
Yeah.
And so I got to ask, what's one of the craziest stories from guiding that you got?
Oh man, I honestly never had anything super crazy happen. I had a lot of people fall in, stuff like that. Nothing crazy on the guide part. We were pretty PG on our guide trips.
Gotcha.
I mean, I got some crazy stories about catching giants and just stuff that doesn't happen anymore when fork was good and before forward facing. And it's cool. I got it there so long, you get to see so many transitions of fish behavior.
Okay.
Right? And it's the same fish that get pushed to do different things after X amount of years of pressure. And then you got to figure out how to catch the same fish doing something totally different. They move in the water column, they change their habits, they change baits. So I learned a lot guiding, every single day.
Right.
Yeah. So that got you there. That kind of catapulted you to get to the highest level. What's harder, getting to the Elite Series, staying on the Elite Series, or being successful on the Elite Series?
I mean, that's all the same question. You know what I mean? It's all the same circle. I would say, I would hate to go back and try to requalify right now, honestly. So probably getting there is the hardest, I would say.
Did your mindset have to shift once you got there?
No, I would say not. like I just did me that first year and I had success because I didn't know anybody. It's not like my dad tournament. You know, a lot of these guys that their dad, and I say, hell yeah, I wish my dad was Kevin Van Dam too. You know, I mean, you know, I'm not hating on him. Like I just, you know, my dad, like, you know, he'd take me fishing and go to sleep in the back of the boat, you know, or go crappie fishing with me. You know, he wasn't a tournament guy. So like everything I learned, I knew from guiding and fishing around Texas. And, you know, I was a small fish in a big pond, but I just did me, you know what I mean? I roomed with Brad Whiteley, who lives here. He was a rookie too. So we were just, you know, going on what we did. And, you know, I had success just being me. You know what I mean?
When did you and Caleb start running together? If you were with Brad at one point.
So me and Brad roomed for 2 years, and at the end of that second year, Caleb went to the AOI championship with me because Brad didn't make it, and it was just me and Caleb at St. Clair, and we roomed for that AOI championship. And then the next year, me, Brad, and Caleb roomed for a couple tournaments, and then, you know, Brad and Frank started rooming halfway through that year. So 21, me and Caleb rolled it, and we finished like 5th and 6th in AOI too.
Yeah.
Well, there's obviously something to say about you staying true to your ways, your style that first year. Because if you had tried to change yourself or force things to happen, you know, it might not have, and you know that could have determined your whole career right there.
Yeah, I mean, you're worried about a lot that first year, and
yeah,
those vets will mess with your head. They'll try to for sure.
So one of the things, Lee, that I've noticed about you, and you actually didn't admit it in the moment, but after Lay Lake in 2023, you didn't have a great tournament.
No.
And it was the first time. It was when Corey slapped Caleb and whatever. We were at the bar. We, you know, bodies were gonna have to get hid. Whatever. That's not the point. But that was the first time I was around you post tournament after a bad tournament, and I was like, dang, this dude is different right now. Like I could tell that, like, you wouldn't admit it, but it was eating away at you, like so much to the point where I'm like, this dude hates to lose. And
I was pissed.
How do you reset after an event like that? Like, do you have a process, or do you just go about it in your own way when you reset after that event?
They're all different though. Like Martin the other day, I just didn't have that little bite, and I felt like I did everything right.
Right.
That Lay Lake one, I was pissed. Like I got catfished big time, and I missed doing me. Like guys were buzz baiting and swimming a jig up by takeoff, and I knew it. And I was trying to catch deep spotted bass down on the south end. I just had a couple big bites that were like too easy in practice, so it was my fault. I was pissed because I went and did the wrong thing. But yeah, I mean, I am in a very, very bad mood. I've got a whole album in my phone of me being in bad moods after tournaments, because I got a camera guy with a camera in my face when I suck, asking a million questions. So I've got to apologize to Jesse every now and then when I have a bad tournament, because I'll cuss him and everything.
Yeah, but so what like, where does it add fuel to your fire to get to bounce back after it? Like, I know you're reaching into cookie jars somewhere to find motivation from from those bad events.
Oh yeah, I mean that's all it is. But dude, once you win, you know, once you have success, I mean, you get that taste. That's all you want. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing when you lose. You you hate losing, you know, which I hate losing anything. But you know, when it's my job, I really, really, really hate it.
Yeah, I mean, you're a 5th grade checkers champion, so you know.
I actually beat Caleb like 500 times in a row at checkers this one time. I've got a big ass scar right there. We were at Gunnersville during the COVID, the one that Tally won, and I literally beat him probably 50 games in a row. It was just me and him in a cabin by ourselves. We were drinking beers, and I was like murdering this dude in checkers, and he couldn't figure it out, like just whooping his ass, and I was rubbing it in and talking shit. And literally the last time I beat him, he flipped the entire coffee table over, grabbed me, and threw me over the couch, and I busted my head on a lamp. He got so pissed.
Oh shit.
Well, my God.
Oh man.
That's phenomenal. Hey, Caleb hates to lose too, I guess, you know.
Yeah, I mean you can't do anything competitive. Like I don't understand people that do things and they're like, "Oh, I don't care." Like I don't care, it's whatever. I don't care. I'm like, I don't get that, man. I'm winning or somebody's dying kind of guy. It's just the way it is.
Yep.
Where at what point in your career, Lee, have you felt the most pressure that you had to perform?
That second year, my sophomore year, my worst year AOI, which I won an event and had multiple top tens, but I made some really stupid decisions. After that first year, and I was like, shit, I can't do no wrong. I'm the king of the mountain, and I was doing all this stupid stuff instead of just being me. And that was the worst. But like once that ball starts rolling the wrong way, you can't stop it, and you do more stupid stuff. So definitely that year in the first 8 events was the worst. It was rolling the wrong way, and then luckily I won the second to last one, and then I top 10 the last one and got right back on track. But that was definitely the worst for me, was that sophomore slump.
Yeah.
When you say you were making stupid calls, like for people that may not know, like what is that exactly? Like you were just making the wrong call of where to fish, what lures you were fishing, where you were trying to go deep when they were shallow, stuff like that.
No, more like, you can gamble every now and then, make a big long run, once or twice. You can't do it every, event. Just like at Santee Cooper, I went way, way up in the swamp and got stuck on a tree, like where my boat couldn't even get off. I didn't even make it back to weigh in, had a 0 on day 2, stuff like that. Like,
gotcha.
Stupid stuff where I was chasing, and I wasn't even catching them up there. I'm so confident that I'm going to figure it out in a day. I was like, man, I'm going to figure it out up in there. And no, I did not. I think I had like 2 bass or something. So
Damn.
Just stupid stuff, man. Instead of keeping it simple, I'm really good at keeping it. I'll gamble too. I'll make really long runs and do some off the wall stuff, but you got to do that very, very, smart, at the right time, right place kind of stuff.
Right.
I can't imagine how hard it is to make that judgment call on the water. Like when you're fishing an area where maybe you caught them during practice and you go there game day and they're not biting and you've got to transition or you've got to move to another spot. Like that has just got to be that's got to be one of the toughest calls to make mentally.
Yeah. I mean, there's a million variables. Fishing is 90% mental, man. It really is.
So, what do you think separates guys, Lee, from like you had a tough year in your sophomore slump, but towards the end of the year, you're able to bounce back. You're able to get a win. You're able to get a top 10 after the win and kind of propel yourself forward. What separates professional anglers that have the ability to do that and those that don't?
Just that mental game, man. I don't even know how to describe it. Just being tough and hard headed, and knowing you're going to hit. Just like I talked about at Martin. I know I keep repeating that.
Yeah.
But it was one of the times that I didn't hit. I didn't hit the ball, and I usually do. And but you got to be mentally tough, knowing that, man, you're doing the right thing, right place, right time. You're gonna hit. You know what I mean? We've got 8 hours to do it. It never happens in the first hour. It's or not with me. You know what I mean? It's always 7-pounder on the last cast or figure something out in the last minute. It's a mental game. Mentally strong guys like Kevin, like Brandon. You see Brandon have these horrible finishes and fish losses, and he always bounces back. The dude's as mentally tough as they come. And Kevin never thought he was going to lose ever. He could have been in last place and he thought he was going to come back and win. He caught every single fish he could. Davey Height told me a story when Davey actually had Kevin as a pro, as weird as that sounds.
Pro on pro.
I think it was at Eufaula, Alabama. And they were fishing, and Davey was netting a 7-pounder for Kevin. And either it came off the net or Davey knocked it off on the net. And it was a big one for that tournament. and Davey was just like, "Oh shit," you know, and kind of looked up, and he said when he looked up, Kevin was already making another cast, like had already turned his back and made another cast, like never said a word, you know, on to the next cast, like it doesn't matter, it's over, you know, and instead of acting a fool like your boy Akinelli and kicking the dog and going crazy.
It gets us, you know what I mean? It gets, and I know it gets you too. I know losing fish fucking sucks. Doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah. No, that mental game is the biggest part of our sport, by far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Lee,
outside, go ahead, Shane.
I was just gonna say, if you could pick anywhere to fish outside of Texas, where would it be, and what kind of fishing? What style would it be?
Champlain for sure. Riz knows all about Champlain. It's just you can do everything. You can catch largemouth, smallmouth, deep grass, rocks, offshore, up the rivers, muddy water. You can do everything there. It's full of fish, and it's cool. You know, it's big. So definitely Champlain is my number one hitter.
Yeah, Riz is going to teach me how to fish the St. Lawrence this year.
Yeah.
I don't know about teach you, Shane. We're just gonna do some drifting and just, you know, drink beer and just bounce baits.
That sounds good too. I like doing that.
drag that sea rig.
Yeah, that's it. That's the program. All right, so Lee, you've had a couple close calls in this next little club derby you got coming up, the Bassmasters Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Where's your head at? Where are you at mentally right now going into the Super Bowl of bass fishing for your 6th time? No, and I know you want to win so bad. Like, where are you at with it, dude?
Well, before you answer, Lee, sorry to interrupt. Can you give us where you finished the last 6 times?
I couldn't tell you. I know I finished 3rd last year, 4th or 5th the year before, 8th my first year.
Okay, I just wanted people to realize how close you've actually been to taking that thing.
3 top 10s in the Classic at least.
Okay, there you go.
I know I've never been outside the top 15, and the year I got 15th, I thought I was going to win on the final day. I was in the Super 6 and just did stupid stuff to try to win. But it's, you know, I got that taste in my mouth like I talked about. You know, I got that blood, and I won it. And you know, I've been there before. I fished a Classic there already, and I got like 13th, 11th, something like that there. But just it's a little different there because it's a big one, and they reduced the smallmouth length. It used to be 18 there, now it's 15, I think.
Whoa,
yeah, that's what I saw.
It's going to change some things. It's going to make me probably go smallmouth fishing, at least in practice. Which I caught big smallmouth every time, shallow, but it's going to make me go out there and look a little bit deeper and just try to catch smallmouth. So I'm going to have that equation in there. But it's the Classic. You know what I mean? I want it.
I mean, how do you keep rising to the occasion? You haven't finished outside of the top 15 in that tournament. Like, that's incredible. I didn't realize that. That's incredible.
No, I mean, like, you can look at any of the championships, Toyota Series championships. I've never finished out of it. You know, any of that. Like Tucker told me, he's like, "Damn, dude, you're always in the Ultimate Angler deal. I got 5th the other day." I don't know, just whether I get mentally better prepared for those bigger tournaments, or they just, you know, I think the Classic fits my style this time of year. You know, that early kind of pre-spawn stuff, I think, is what helps me more than anything.
Right.
For sure. But just, I don't know.
I love the fact that you fish out of a 10 rig too, man. I love that.
Heck yeah.
Those express boats are so sweet, man. I got a G3 bay boat, and I looked hard at the express. There's no dealer near us, or else I would have had one. But man, those things are so sweet.
Yeah, man, that XR21's bigger than you think, man. That thing's 21 foot long, 96-inch beam, 250 Yamaha show. It's huge.
How fast that thing roll?
That XR21's fast. I can run 70 to 72 depending on my load.
Shoo. I can't imagine. I can't imagine going that fast in a bass boat. I went like 65, 68 with Zona one time, and I felt like I was on an airplane, man. I didn't know what was happening.
Oh yeah, Kingfish with Zona. That's an interesting
Heck
thing
yeah.
to throw into the show.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, man, look, Lee, we appreciate you jumping on here with us and sharing some of your journeys and some of your lessons learned through the elites. You know, we're gonna let you go, but thank you for jumping on with us, man. We really appreciate it, and good luck at the Classic. I will see
Yes,
you
sir.
there. I'll see you.
Thanks for having me on, man. I know
Yeah, thanks a lot, Lee. I appreciate it, bud.
I'm tripping out. Mosquitoes are tearing us up. It's 85 degrees in Texas.
We got a whopping 30 here, but no big deal.
It was fun, man. We'll have to do it again sometime. And yeah, good luck at the Classic, dude. Get that freaking trophy, man. It's
yes, sir.
You're due. If anybody is, you're the one that's due. So
yeah, I appreciate it, guys. I'm ready.
All right.
Thanks,
Lee.
Thanks.
All right, everybody. It's Everyday Podcast again. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Facebook, Instagram. Catch you on the next one. Later.